It's not side without that yodel. We have that crack there. Side. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back in the studio with a good cup of coffee for one more vocal analysis, and today we're going to listen to Left for Good, Bad Omens. I really like my previous analysis on Bad Omens, so I'm eager to listen to this one. They just released it a week ago, and I wanted to listen to the song with you guys. If you are here to the channel, my name is Kyle. I'm a singer-songwriter and voice teacher. As a singer-songwriter, I just released last week my latest single. It's called Leave It All Behind. It's out on all major music platforms. I would love for you to go there, give it a listen, and I would love to hear your thoughts on the song. And as a voice teacher, my work is focused on laryngeal physiology and biomechanics, so we have several muscles inside our larynxes, and depending on what we do with these muscles, we achieve different sounds. That's most of what we do here in the channel, so let's analyze the song, let's see what's happening in there. And if you want to become a singing student, check out my online singing course, Building Your Voice. I'll leave it linked down below. In there we talk about a range of different vocal techniques. We talk about how you can have a powerful sound with your voice to belt out those high notes. We also talk about lower notes. We talk about how to sing with a soft tone, to be expressive with your singing. Those are what we call passive vocal schemes. For instance, when you want to have breathiness in your sound or sing with a soft voice in general. We talk about, actually we have a full module on vocal distortions. How to practice and apply vocal distortions in your singing without hurting yourself. So the correct technique so that you don't hurt yourself, you don't hurt your voice. We don't want that to happen. All of that in theory and practice. We have a vocal exercise library with exercises for you to practice each of the techniques that we cover inside the course. Okay, so all that and much more inside my singing course, Building Your Voice. Okay, so without further ado, let's listen to Left for Good. Talking about that breathy voice. By the way, this is a vocal scheme that inside vocal anthropophysiology, which is the framework for my work as a voice teacher, inside vocal anthropophysiology, we call this vocal scheme breathy voice. And it is this sound here. The vocal folds are in passive tension. That means that we don't have as much compression. The vocalis muscles, which is the muscle portion of the vocal folds, they are not as engaged, closing with that much muscle tension. As if I were singing like this. No, actually, I'm allowing that breathiness. So he is every now and then starting with a creaky sound, what resembles a fry. Yeah, I will sing like this. And then at the end, he's allowing some breathiness. So I start with a creaky. So I start like this. And then I end like this. I have this sound here. That sounds amazing. In spite of the fumes. So it's quite low as well, right? Whenever we are singing above the E4, whenever we are singing above that E4 with active vocal folds, so now we are talking about that engagement, that compression, so the vocalis muscles are active. We have also the muscles in the back of our throats helping to form up those vocal folds and get that firm, compressed, tight sound. Hey! Whenever we have that behavior is a vocal scheme that inside vocal anthropophysiology we call warn voice. The voice that you would use to warn someone about something. If you are calling someone on the other side of the street, hey! A similar behavior, of course. In singing, we want to control volume, all of that. We don't want just to shout, but the behavior is similar. We just want to clean that behavior as much as possible to make the most out of it. So we have that warm voice there. Hey! But also we have a yodel right at the end. He's letting go. He's breaking into something passive. So let's listen to that again. But that yodel is amazing. Side, side. It's not side without that yodel. We have that crack there. Side. When we don't want that to happen, we just call that a voice crack or a break. When we want that to happen, we call that yodel. That said, I also hear some vocal distortions there. Some narrow phaser. This is this kind of distortion. Yay! I also hear some of that. I have this distortion and then clean. That's pretty cool. I love how he blends that vocal distortion, which is a bit more aggressive, with some clean schemes that are also powerful, sometimes soft. That's amazing. And this is vocal technique, being able to express yourself in different ways using your voice as a tool. And using the vocal technique as a tool. Oh, listen to that distortion there as well. We have a lot of hits for that. We are opening up the back of the mouth, aiming for that schwa shape. Actually, even more vertical than the to have this dark sound here. I saw the body infused with gardens in Canon. We call this kind of vocal scheme here a Gregorian voice. A Gregorian voice is passive, just like the breathy voice, but without the breathiness. So Gregorian voice, breathy voice, Gregorian voice, breathy voice. The light is I saw them claw their way through the flow of the truth, and I am the wound, but I stay. Why do I stay in the middle? What do I say? Why do I stay? Why do I stay? That distortion there is so cool. Just a little. Why do I raise the other side? For all I've left for good, 'cause I yearn for a way out, for the hurt, for a way down, for the worst, for the pain now. For all I've left for good, I won't be what you thought of me. So I'll leave you. We have this distortions here as well. So cool. The amount of different sounds, different colors, different textures per se that he's applying here. This is so good. All of that again healthy. This kind of distortion, for instance, we have a lot of crackling happening at the level of the vocal folds, but everything is so soft because this is mostly about having the structures relaxed. Even going towards that Mickey Mouse sound, but bringing it a bit lower and then sending more pressure. And then from this sound here, just control a little bit of the compression. We, of course, we do want some compression for that, but everything needs to be controlled so that we are balancing out the different pressurization systems. So we have the subglottic pressurization system, which refers to amount of the air pressure that we're sending. We have the transglottic pressurization system, which is related to what our larynxes are doing, so the amount of tension in the muscles and whatnot. And we also have the supraglottic pressurization system, which is related to what we are doing above the larynx to control those pressures as well. So the thing is, if we increase the pressure somewhere, for instance, if I'm sending more air pressure increasing the subglottic, I need to reduce the pressure somewhere else. I can reduce the supraglottic by opening up space. I can reduce the transglottic by letting the technique a bit breathier, softer, applying less compression. And the inverse is also true. If I want to increase my transglottic pressure, I need to decrease it somewhere. I can decrease my supraglottic pressure by opening up space. I can decrease my subglottic pressure, sending less air. So it's all about balancing out the pressurization systems so that we get the sound that we want, but it's still healthy. Again, we talk about all of that. We talk about the pressurization systems, how to control each of them, and how to control the relation between them inside my course Building Your Voice. And of course, we also talk about what each of these systems is doing for each of the techniques that we practice. For instance, we have a different relation between subglottic pressure and transglottic pressure for this distortion, or for this distortion. Yay! Two different techniques. So if I try to apply, for instance, the same level of air pressure for both, I might hurt myself. So again, if you want to develop your voice, check it out, link down below. Let's keep going. This music video here is giving me 28 years later vibes. I didn't like the movie. But I'm liking the music video. It's quite well done. The creaky voice is a kind of distortion that only appears as a fade in or fade out, or most of the times it will appear as a fade in or fade out. I will sing, or I will sing, because this is a kind of distortion that requires minimum volume. If we try to make it big, we try to increase the volume, we lose the technique. We can keep a vocal distortion, but it won't be the creaky voice. And it's so cool that here we have both. He's using it as a fade in for some phrases, as a fade out for some phrases, and a lot of yodas. I will sing, really cool. Listen to that breathiness. What's going on? I was waiting for a scream there. Okay. Well, this music video is definitely something else. Like the quality of the photography, it's just like it feels like you're watching a movie. I said that it gives me 20 years later vibes, but that's mostly about like the guy with the long hair running through the fields. That reminds me of one of the monsters there. But I feel like this music video is way better than the movie. I didn't quite like the movie. Not saying it's a bad movie, but just not my thing. But this music video here is amazing. I love the photography, the colors. And I was like, what's happening? there at the end. Well, if you know, leave it here in the comments. Also, let me know what you think of the song, what you think of my analysis. I'm really liking diving into these Bad Omens songs with you guys. So if you have more recommendations, it can be again Bad Omens, or it could be other songs that you would like me to analyze here. Leave them down below. Subscribe to the channel, that helps me a lot with the algorithm. Click the bell button. Again, I just released a latest single of mine because I'm also a musician. I'm not only a vocal coach that talks about voice, I'm also a singer myself, a songwriter myself. I just released my latest single. Leave It All Behind. It's out on all music platforms. The link will be down below, so it would mean the world to me if you could go there, listen to the song, and let me know your thoughts on it. If you want to become my singing student, check out my online singing course, Building Your Voice, where we talk about all of the techniques in a range of other techniques. We talk about active vocal schemes, passive vocal schemes, talk about ornaments such as yodels, vibratos, runs, vocal distortions, of course, how to practice and apply them in a way that's healthy for you and your voice. We talk about how to properly support your voice breathing support. We talk about physiology in case you want to understand more about what the muscles that you have inside your larynx are doing, how to warm up your voice properly. We exercise all of techniques, again, all of this and much more inside Building Your Voice, link down below. Okay, so that's all for today. You enjoy your day, enjoy your coffee, and remember, if your concepts cannot be seen in the real world, they must change, and not the world.